What's up everyone? My name is Jesse Morrison. I'm with Knotted Hooks, and today I'm going to go over one of my favorite brine recipes for doing up some herring. So we got the Spring Chinook opening in a couple days. I'm going to head out this weekend with the family and we're going to hopefully slam some awesome Spring Chinook. And I thought, you know, before I go, I might as well do a video showing, like I said, one of my favorite recipes. Let's do it. So I went to the store and they always hate it when I go in there because I dig through their freezer to find the best looking herring I can find. I go with Green Label. There's nothing wrong with the other ones, but it's tried and true for me. That's what I use. Now, one thing that you want to look for when you're doing, when you're looking for your herring, is you want to have a good color to them. You want to make sure the scales are nice and intact. You're not seeing scales all over the bag. And the big thing is you look for the eyes. You make sure they're not all bloodshot. They got good color to them. Everything looks good. Now, one of the things I do with these herrings is I will actually let them sit out just for a little bit. I don't let them thaw all the way. I just let them unfreeze enough to where I can take them apart without ripping scales off. Because there's nothing worse than doing all this work and you know, everything you put into it, and just grab them and just ripping them apart, and now you got scales missing. Everything is about the presentation. You want to have as natural, beautiful looking presentation as possible, and yeah, don't slow or shortcut yourself. So let's open these babies up. Oh, so you're not even stuck to that. Ooh, okay. Oh yeah, Daddy likes. Look at that. Would you just look at that? Look how beautiful these things are. So when you take them apart, see, they're not completely stuck to themselves. You have, look, that is just beautiful. The color, everything looks just great. They did a good job. They flash freeze these and they throw them in there, and some of the packaging, you look through them, you can tell those aren't either fresh or they weren't handled with care. I mean, they're just scooping them up, throwing them in, packaging them, throwing through a machine. So, you know, take your time, look through them, find the ones that you want, and then grab them. All right, let's get to it. All right, let's start measuring this up. All right, with me, I have a quart mason jar. Some people like to use the 1 gallon Ziploc bags. Me personally, I just like glass. I know it can break and stuff, but that's just my personal opinion. Okay, I have some coarse salt. I'm gonna use about 1/4 cup. This is a 1/2 cup, so I'm gonna do about half of it, obviously. So about half of that. Boom, throw it in there. This is about what it looks like in the jar. There's not much, but with salt, you are adding this because you're making the bait more, a little more stiffer consistency. It helps for keeping the longevity and life of your bait in the water. You want to be fishing. You don't want to throw some soft bait in there and it just blows out, you know, down river or whatever, or down in the ocean bottom depths where it's just little shrimp, like beep, beep, beep. So you can experiment with how much salt you want to use based on how your batch turns out. So feel free to just completely do your own thing. No one knows everything, especially me. So I'm always constantly experimenting. This just happens to work for me for the measurements I put for a quart jar. Next we go to sugar. Now, for some reason, these fish, they like something sweet. I don't know why. I mean, if I could put a cookie on the end, I would. But that's probably not going to work. So, same thing. I'm using 1/4 cup. So, it's pretty easy. 1/4 salt, 1/4 granulated sugar. Boom. It's in there. Once again, here's what the mason jar looks like. Nothing too crazy there. Okay, next, I go with the ProCure Bait Scent Sodium Sulfate. This stuff, it's just a bite stimulant. They like sulfates. I don't go too crazy on this. So I'm only putting in about a tablespoon. Like I said, I don't go nuts on the sulfates, but you know, if If I think it's going to help me, I'll throw it in there. Next, we have, now I know this says egg cure on it. I'm sure you guys are going to beat me up on this in the comments, but that's okay. I use this. I only use a little bit though, because it does have dyes with this stuff. And for some reason it smells like cupcakes. It's really weird. But so with this one, I'm only using about, I don't know, a couple teaspoons. Nothing crazy. Just adds a little bit to it. I'm a little superstitious. I tried this once and we had a banger day, and now I keep using it. So it's just me. Feel free to experiment, like I said, with all kinds of stuff. Even if it says it's for other things, you can still use it. Experiment. Try some stuff. You might find something awesome. And then now we go to the wet ingredients. All right. We have this guy here. This is ProCure. And they make a lot of different brines and cures. I personally go with natural, because to me in the wild, fish are eating what's naturally in front of them. I've tried, you know, the fire engine reds and the oranges and the purples and the blues, and I seem to have better luck with natural. So this is pretty much all I use now if I'm doing my herring. I like natural colors. I want a natural presentation, and I want it to look as natural as possible. And yes, I'll say natural one more time, natural. So let's throw some of this in there. Like I said, I'm probably only gonna fill it up, oh, probably a third of the way. And then grab this lid, throw it on there, and give it a good shake. Now, so the salts and other things aren't gonna dissolve right away. You'll see them fall at the bottom. But like I said, when you're storing this in your fridge or your beer cooler or wherever you're at, just give it a nice gentle shake. When there's fish in there, you're not going to want to shake it vigorously because you're going to lose scales. You're just going to kind of want to, you know, gently do it once there is fish in there. I've shaken it up before, thinking it was my prawns, because prawns I'll shake up kind of vigorously. And I was like, oh! You can see scales floating everywhere there. I was like, crap. So, okay, we have that shooken up. Now we add these a beautiful herring. Once again, these are the green labels. I usually put them in head first. I don't know if that's the proper way of doing it or not, but that's just the way I do it. Now on this tray, like I said, take your time. Don't just rip these things off. Gently put them in there. Especially if you know, we're picky about your quality. You're hand selecting your own bait. There's a lot of stuff in the store you could have picked, but you know, you want the best stuff. I mean, look at this stuff. This is great. This is beautiful. I mean, look at the bottom of the tray. There's only 1 or 2 scales on there. So, I mean, these were packaged nice, and these are like the perfect size for spring Chinook. Looking to bite these bad boys. All right, so yeah, pretty good there. Okay, now let's fill it up the rest of the way. What I like to do is add a little bit of scents. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but I add the scents anyways. So one of the things, I use ProCure, and I'm not sponsored by ProCure. It may seem like it, but I'm not. I use some anise oil, and this stuff is extremely potent. So I don't go crazy with it, or I might not do anything with it. So a couple drops, nothing crazy. It's very potent. Put a couple drops in there. I do add a little bit of anchovy, and there's been some discussion about, you know, oil doesn't mix with water. Can fish smell, you know, if there's, you know, this and that? Well, there's been plenty of studies shown also how powerful salmon and steelhead are with their nose. And it's, I'm gonna do some research on that and try to release a video later just showing how powerful they actually are and how far they can smell. I use this stuff, so I'll put a little anchovy in there. Nothing wrong with putting some anchovy. And then I also use some ProCure Salmon Slammer. I don't go crazy. Like I said, this is more of a, the Salmon Slammer is more of an injection bait. It's kind of clumpy. So you will notice that it clumps up a little bit when you put it in there, because it's more of a stick to your, you know, your lures or whatever you're putting it on, and it will stay and slowly release. So if you see chunks in there, don't freak out. Okay, now put the rest of this in there. And this works out usually perfect for one package of sardines and one of these small bottles. I would have bought a bigger one, but they didn't have any. Apparently other people are thinking about this too for the Spring Chinook on the Columbia. So then I put the lid on. Like I said, see how everything settled already? That's a lot of material. So I just gently get this stuff going. You will lose a couple scales. I don't like it, but it's just the way it goes when you brine stuff, especially as they defrost. So I'll let that sit. It'll be, look at those beautiful things. The cure will do its job. It'll make them shiny and beautiful and a natural color. And you can store your bait. It's best to have it for a couple days. You can accelerate it if you're like, oh man, we're going fishing tomorrow. I don't have time to do all this stuff. You can 45 cut them ahead of time. If you put a little bit more salt, it'll make it a little bit more tougher, and put them in there and it'll soak in a little bit faster. But if you can, let them sit for a day or two. You'll have the best product you can with these. And yeah, good luck you guys. Hope to see some of you guys out there. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it and you thought it was informative, please hit the like button and subscribe. You know, help a fellow fisher out and support the community. Like I said, fish on, everybody. What's up, everyone? That's stupid. Okay. What's going on, everyone? Hey, this is Jesse Morrison with Not Wicked Boats. Gosh. Okay. What's going on, everyone? My name's Jesse Morrison. I'm with Knotted Hook. Hey. What's going on? Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Jesse Morrison. I'm with Knotted Hooks. We're gonna be doing a quick tutorial today to go over some stuff. Hey. Depths where it's just little shrimp like beep beep beep.